All right, so I am live. Just going to mute. Super. Think we're going live also. Right, so I am live. Mute. I'm sorry. Just going to mute. The nice weather outside, and wherever you are watching this from, good morning, good noon, good evening. Just going to press the recording button. Welcome to EQ Brain Skills series for busy moms. We are on the day 22. It's a nice weather out here. I'm sure rest of the world is also entering to the cold months of the year. Having said this, um, the sun will be scarce now, so it is important to catch hold of sun whenever it is coming outside, and also move your body, break a sweat every day in order to not have the stagnation and to be able to bounce back. So it is very important to have the physical resilience mechanisms on all the time in the next 3, 4 months, because this part of the world, it gets very cold, and that is the time stagnation will kick in. So you should have some intensive cardio or something going on where you can keep yourself up and moving. Okay, only in the moment uh, you are alive. So it is important to circulate the blood, keep up the blood rushing, and at the same time, your mind will also be agile. So welcome to this EQ series again, and we are talking about proactive mindset, which can help you boost your productivity today in various areas, not necessarily only your career or your business, and also in your daily life transactions. Because as a mother, we juggle with multiple roles, and we need to be efficient even at family transactions. So it is an entrepreneurial skill. It is doesn't mean that you have to be an entrepreneur to deploy these skills. We When we handle many things, we naturally have that leadership ability. And one of the key skill which can help you solve the problems very strategically is to have a proactive mindset. So, what is proactive mindset and how are we going to develop that is something that we will see. I hope I'm audible, visible. I'm sharing screen here. So, I'm also checking if my screen and I am visible. So, I'm opening up the chat in case you're watching me live. Just give me a hi, hello. I'll know that you've taken that effort to come watch me live, and we'll give you a shout out and include you in my presentation. Okay. On that note, we will dive into presentation. Super. So we're talking about proactivity. Yesterday we saw an introduction about what it means to be proactive, and we take a particular brain talent in this 100 days of we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence, right? So we will take one particular talent, we'll go wider and deeper, especially when you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. All the lives that I'll be conducting will come to you as a reminder, a notification. So please do subscribe, and it will also give me a boost to understand how many people are really interested to learn emotional intelligence. You know why? Because without emotional intelligence coming into your awareness, right? Starting to manage or to even know what you're going through. It could be a feeling or it could be some emotional status of mind. Unless you know what's happening within you, you won't be able to operate functionally. That is essentially why we're talking about brain talents. because emotional intelligence can be spoken about, um, in a way that I can give you some examples and how to develop skills like social awareness, essentially to know how you can manage your stress and anger and all that. But when it is given to you in the format of your own strength and talents, it is easier for you to, relate and pick that up. It will come at your rescue because it is already a strength in you. Maybe you have the habitual um, practice in you to, maybe you're proactively, you are a proactive person already. Suppose it is your strength. You're going to use this proactiveness to leverage the area of improvement. But if I'm going to talk to you about coping mechanism in stress and anger and all that, it'll remind us a strategy. Okay. But instead, what I'm doing in this 100 days is to let you know how emotions are taken as data and then your brain is responding to that. Because all of us have brain. It is tangible that it is a biological organ and it is within us. So you, according to your needs and wants, you are using your left brain and right brain constantly. It depends on one person, which one of the side of the brain that you're using dominantly. But essentially, it is present. So it is, the wisdom is already there. You just have to tap it. So when you look at emotional intelligence this way, you can be confident that it is possible, humanly possible, and it is very much possible. Even a small child is capable of bringing in that superpower to their rescue. Okay. It is not, we cannot dismiss a child, especially after 6 or 7 years when they are, getting into their own personality of likes, dislikes, wants, needs, and all that. Until such time, they are dependent on us. But after 6 or 7 years, they are developing their own, um, their own framework. So the brain activity, you may see a lot of prodigy coming out. You may see a lot of brilliance coming out from your children. It could be from where are they even getting those ideas? Even before you expose to them, they, you know, I realized this when when I took my daughter, she was around 3.5 years. So that was the first time I'm exposing her to a drawing competition. In fact, it was my first time also to discover what amount of whether she even knows how to, hold a pencil or not. Because I was working, and most of the time she was in the daycare during the daytime because our elders in the family were not available to take care of her. And eventually I had to go back to my work, and then we have to resort to a daycare. And when she was in the daycare, almost the entire day we are away from her. And by the time I come back from work, it'll be around 7:38, and my parents take care of her and feed her, and sometimes she'll be put to sleep also. So the days goes like this, and we are not aware of the child's talent yet, unless the teacher. I mean, whenever we have a parent-teacher meeting in the daycare, eventually she goes to kindergarten. So on that note, even we as a parent, we were expecting some, surprises from our children. So that a very first incident I still remember vividly. I took her, and then they said parents are not allowed, only the children are allowed. So they are there out there, and they were given, paper to sketch, and then the materials were given and all that. I was waiting outside very curiously to understand. Maybe she could draw, maybe she could sketch. She was given crayons and to do all that. And then, to my surprise, there was an award ceremony, and I thought, okay, let me pack up. And then I asked her, how did she do? She said, okay, fine, I did it. And she also explained to me what she did. So then they did not show us the outcome of the paper of what she drew. So we had to wait for the award ceremony. I was almost in the verge of just packing up because it was just a fun. Me and my husband, as a parent, we only wanted her to explore as many as things possible without any expectation. But we always would, we don't expect this to happen, but we will be celebrating. We will welcome to know what kind of talents in her. We would like to discover that. So when the awards was, announced, all the names were read, and then it was she was also becoming cranky, and then I was anyway supposed to leave. And then her name got announced at the last, meaning she bagged the first prize. Um, one time she went and picked the award, and then again they said there is a special award category. So by the time I wanted to go, then the other teacher said, just hold on, maybe you would like to listen to few more announcement. I waited there, and then she bagged another award, a special award. And I was wondering what special did she even do. And then finally I asked them, like, where is the paper that she drew. Then they gave me the picture, and if it's possible, I can attach the picture here, but since it is live, I may not be able to do so. She drew it so perfectly. The crayons did never came out of the line. It was a Santa Claus, we still remember. And the Santa Claus paper, the picture was so perfect. The colors never came out of the line. That was the first thing I noticed. And then the combination of color. How did she even realize what combination will be there? Hardly, few times she would have even seen the Santa Claus thing. So why I'm saying is the brain has its own capacity. You just have to, you know, Einstein says that we are only using 2% of brain. And he was I think out of all the research, I think he used the maximum out of all of us, being the research and the scientist. And I think he used the maximum 8 to 9% of the brain. We still have so much of it to explore. Now, having said this, this is about creativity of the brain, the right side of the brain. Then you can also, measure the left side of the brain as to how logically a person can, connect the dots and analyze certain things. So this was also a surprise. The more the child is academically driven in terms of math, calculations, or in terms of understanding time, in terms of understanding Carnatic music, because it is all calculation, right? It's a combination, permutation and combination. Those were the areas where we get to know about the brain talents about in a child. But what happens after we grow? We get tuned to a particular thing and we get autopilot in that. We tend to not to use the other side of the brain at all. So essentially, that is why we need to update our education system, upgrade it in a way that we also take care of the right side brain. Now, when I say right side brain, what is happening is it is driven by emotions. Okay. When we say creativity, there is a emotion going on. There is a curiosity, there is a wonder, there is an excitement. All these could be feelings which is emerging from emotion. Emotion, it is the body cues. Okay. Emotions is derived from biological, that is from body only. A status of change. When a tiger comes in, there is a different emotion. When your child hugs, there is a different emotion. So typically, it is coming from the biological sensations. But when it is turned as feeling, it is also taking into consideration of so many other factors. Other than the five senses, there are so many environmental factors is also picked up. So that is where the awareness is getting expanded. So a feeling or a emotional state will determine the decisions also. So you cannot dismiss. As a child, we are able to watch and we are able to celebrate and we are able to develop, right? When they are creatively, intuitively working on, or, they are able to use their emotional insight sometime, and they are excellent in communication. They can think through, they can pick up a lot of cues. They are very expressive. All these are, sometimes they are very adventurous also. They just don't have fear. Kids don't have fear at all. All these are effectively right brain. Now we are tuning them to the academics. That is more of a calculation and analysis and all that. That is left brain. The more we drive, that is why our education system has to be upgraded, because too much of importance is given for intellectual quotient. But the emotional quotient is actually degraded. By the time you become, young adult, the right side of the brain almost cease to function. But it is the youth, it is the time that your brain is gushing with the, a lot of hormones, and, regeneration of cells is so rapid. And by the time you become a full grown adult, the regeneration of cells is getting reduced. So biologically also, even if you try hard, you those things will not kick in. The excitement, the adventure, the curiosity, the risk taking, the innovation, your proactiveness will not kick in unless you have exercised that. Okay. Typically for proactiveness, I'll tell you which side of the brain that we are activating for this skill. For example, when the life gets intense, more than your logic brain, your right brain gets activated, because that is where you're processing a lot of data in it, emotion part of it. Because life, when we are talking about life, it is just not numbers, it's not calculation. It is life, it is an automatic process where it involves people. Okay, people are full of emotions, and emotional intelligence means you're handling your own emotions and also others by taking a lead with logic and backed up by emotion, because you cannot dismiss the data coming from emotions. With this being said, every episode, we have different context for brain skills, and today it's a different context. And the format of these episodes remains the same, where we approach in six methods, 6 steps. One is definition, pros and cons, application, approach, case study, and call to action. Having said this, today we are seeing proactivity in an angle to create or boost your productivity, no matter whichever role you are in. We are going to get ahead and bash the competition by building proactive mindset. Okay. How? We're going to take charge, boost productivity, and staying ahead. We'll see what angle these brain skills, in these angles, how the brain skills is going to help you. First is definition. Now, mental attitude driving responsibility for actions and outcomes. It involves planning ahead and making things happen. In essence, this is the definition. We have seen 2 more episodes of proactivity. I would highly recommend you to go through that, because the angle of proactivity usage will be different there. Okay. But essentially, keywords is, when you want to be proactive, remember these 2 keywords. Type in the comment box for me that planning plus problem solving. If you remember these 2 keywords, you are proactive. Okay. When it comes to left brain, let's see how proactivity is activated in your left brain, using more of logic to create structured plans for achieving goals. And then the right brain, employing creativity to innovate and find quick solutions to challenges also. So for you to plan ahead, your logic brain has to help you, because that's where you figure out the past, habits, the trends, or sometimes numbers, analytics, whatever helps you analyze, the data that helps you analyze. And then with that data, what are you going to do? You're going to solve the problem. And how you approach, it may not necessary that the routine, it's set already. But problem solving comes where? When it is a new thing. And for you to approach new thing, you got to approach creatively, which means with a new open-minded. I'll tell you what are the strategies which expect you to solve problem creatively using your right brain. Okay. With this understanding, the key message here is consistency. In order to boost your productivity through proactive mindset, the message here is you're going to get an outcome of becoming consistent, because a proactive mindset helps you consistently getting things done and then staying ahead. It allows you to stay ahead of life demands. And then transformation. Developing this mindset can transform your productivity and success. Okay. All right. Now, what are the advantages of you being proactive or having a proactive mindset? Productivity boost. Okay. Let me quickly check if I have, yeah. All right. I have started this. Productivity boost. Okay. You're going to take intentional actions to reach goals and get more things done. It will also reduce your stress. You're going to reduce pressure from last minute crisis and unexpected challenges. and increased control. By doing so, what happens is you are in control of your daily transactions. You're not getting swayed by external factors. Taking control or taking charge of your daily transaction itself is powerful. Okay. So it is only going to improve your focus because you won't be pulled in each directions because you are steering the wheel. It is like captain of the ship. You are driving the course of action. So staying focused on what truly matters in life and work will be there if you are having a proactive mindset. Overall, it is going to enhance your confidence because taking control itself is improving self-confidence and decision-making skills. Now, the con side of it, that is in this series, we will look at disadvantage this way. There is no, ideally a skill has to have an advantage only. What could be the flip side of it? What if you overdo that skill? That is something tricky that you have to remember because we are talking about brain, which is more of a nervous system related neurologically, that you put something as a habit, it goes on autopilot. Either you're left driven dominatedly or right driven dominated. You need to be in the midbrain so that you will take both the consideration according to the situation. Suppose you're dealing with many people, you cannot only go with the logic, facts and figures. You'll have to consider the emotions involved in it. You should also consider your emotion also. Even if you're not involving other people, your emotions are there. You need to consider that. Along with taking into consideration the process, people should also be considered. And that way, what happens when you overdo this? First of all, discipline is required because maintaining a proactive mindset needs consistent, and for you to become consistent, what is needed? Important thing is to have a self-discipline. For example, the series of 100 days. Okay. That should God grace. I have maintained this discipline of going through this 22 days. And for me to continue this, what are the elements that I need to be having? One is preparing myself, preparing my family, making sure that none of the other activities are getting hit, and also preparing content earlier so that I don't waste my time. When it is time for me to go live, I just go live, right? Whatever is needed for that logistics and the mindset. I need to make sure every day I need to be ready for this. Now, all these tangible, intangible elements, the tangible elements of preparing content, logistics, and all that. The rest of the things, what is happening in the background, is also to be considered because it is all driven by emotion. Any one negative thought, one lazy thought, that can overrule all that logistic, whatever you may be even prepared perfectly, but that one thought will loop you down. So it is important to maintain that balance and discipline. Only with the discipline, self-discipline, can you get consistent. Okay? Because your outcome is important. You remember planning and problem solving. Now, problem solving is becoming consistent. If for you to solve the problem and make yourself consistent, you need to also plan ahead. And with planning only, you're not being able to act on it every day. It is not letting you to be consistent. Then means you're not proactive about it. You see how all these skills are important for any outcome, any success in the career or, in life in general. All these skills, whatever we have been discussing from day one, if you've not been able to go through that, I would recommend you to go through those previous episodes and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. There is a podcast that I will be doing on this content coming on to you very short of a version. Subscribe to my Spotify podcast. And also there is an article format in Substack that I will be telling you stories and how to help you build emotional intelligence. You will have a story coming to you with a Indian format, Indian setup, home setup, and how an Indian busy mom thinks about it. So you can easily relate and be able to build that skill. Okay. Then comes pressure to stay ahead. Constant need to stay ahead can lead to exhaustion. That is important to make sure that you're not get ridden by FOMO. Okay. This has to come from within. You are doing it for your purpose and there should be a value alignment in it. Only then you can be motivated consistently. And then over planning risk. Some may plan too much, missing some spontaneity. It is important to flow. It is important to be alive, present. You need to consider, always have a 70% life goals. Okay. And the 30%, you always let the life happen. Because anyway, that's how it will be. You just cannot have control over everything. So that 30%, you need to let harmony take over. That way, you're not, over evaluating your risk, neither you're overlooking at it. And then the potential frustration. Frustration may occur when plans don't go as expected. Okay. That can also happen. Even if you plan ahead properly, maybe it's not enough. So instead of getting frustrated, take that as a learning and then review that so that you make your next planning correct. So overall, proactive mindset will only help you prevent the adversity so that we don't go into that mode at all. But overdoing that is also important that you need to have a check-in. Then importance of it, why do you need it? Without it, what is going to happen? Life feels like taking control over you, consistently reacting to problems leading to missed opportunity. You will only get into frustration because you get shocked. You get hit by surprise every other day without planning. Then with proactive mindset, you're going to take control, set and achieve goals, create a balanced and productive lives, not just for you, for people around you. Then statistically, proactive individuals are 33% more likely to achieve personal and professional goals. Example is, let's say you're a reactive professional. You naturally will miss the deadlines and some opportunity because of lack of initiative. Imagine, I always give this example. Okay. Now in a classroom of kids, when a teacher asks, how many of you knows this answer? Right? Almost all the kids raise their hands. And few kids will not raise at all. Okay, I've been that way. The last benches will not raise at all. Okay. There are many things going on there, but then essentially people who raise hands gets the opportunity. The kids who raise hand gets the opportunity. Okay. That is the essence of being proactive. And it is also that having raised hand is not just enough. The kid should be able to tell the right answer. Only then he or she is proactive. Am I right or not? You simply raising, that's not going to, just, grabbing opportunity is not going to be effective. You need to be able to solve the problem there, right? First is to grab the opportunity. But, there could be other theories also that we will just, learn as it goes by. But again, as much as you embrace the spontaneity, you cannot go lucky every day, embracing the spontaneity. You need to apply proactive measure of planning ahead and foreseeing the potential roadblocks. Okay, a proactive professional will plan with the clear priorities, anticipate the challenge, and complete the high impact task efficiently. That is the only difference. Now, who needs this? Practically everybody, even a child. I just told you an example. And then professionals like high stake employees, employers, advanced careers, by taking responsibility by personally developing themselves. Because all these are personal development skills. These are not career development skills. Maybe some IT tech skills can be taught, but these have to be, taught ideally at school. If not, at least these sessions can give you that awareness. With this, you will be able to apply and move ahead. For parents also, better manage household responsibility and family schedules. And being a busy mom myself, my heart goes out, and it is important, very, very critical for us to learn this. And entrepreneurs, staying ahead in competitive markets, driving business growth is equally important. Applying proactivity in professional life. So project management, creating contingency plans to make sure projects is in track despite of challenges. Because we are essentially talking about productivity for a working professional. Of course, for you to be productive at home also, you can apply the same modality. So in order to manage your project well, create the contingency plans. And then skill development. Actively seek opportunity to improve and expand professional abilities. It is important to keep growing. In the first instance, even a mom is proactive. We will definitely have a backup plan for our toddler, right? Just in case the nanny doesn't come or the maid doesn't come, we will have a backup plan. We are naturally proactive that way, right? But are we using the skill in all the other dimension, especially the area of improvement? That is something that we have to see. And remember, we have to constantly seek opportunities for which we need to improve and expand our abilities on a day-to-day basis, whether it is for professional setup or personal work. You just cannot think that, okay, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I don't need to go through all the series. I don't need to proactively learn and all that. Imagine the fast-paced environment that we are highly competitive for a, even whether you want to grow or not. But if you want to grow your child, you need to be a proactive parent. Okay. In our case, we made sure uh, during her elementary, that is kindergarten to fifth grade, we made her exposed to so many things. In the previous episode, I would have given you a list of items that we made her, we took her to many places, to many skills. Around 12 to 13 skills is something that she was exposed to. And then right now she was able to narrow down with 2 or 3, because right now she's in mid school, and then the kids will go busier with their academics expectation. But she's narrowed down and she's gotten her niche, her own niche. Now she's able to think through, this is what she's going to do a long term. That only happened because we as a parent, we were proactive. In fact, academically also, we made her skip her grade and we made her pathway to advance her academic skills. Now it is easing up her and she's able to take many responsibilities now. Already she skipped her grade, so she's in the advanced level. So that advance, she has to maintain that status. At the same time, she has to include the advanced level responsibilities also. So it is only expanding the child more, right? But just because somebody is doing, we don't have to do that. We have to really assess the capacity of the child, the needs of the family, whether we are value aligned, whether it is long-term aligned. Once you are clear with this, if we can plan through, then you can start venturing out and make sure that you take enough measures for you to lead your child. Even if you don't want to grow, it is your responsibility to grow your children, for which you need to have these skills. And then career advancement. I just spoke about personal example. It's the same thing for any professional also. Taking initiatives, seeking promotions, and new responsibilities is very, very important. In family life, meal planning. That's another, you just cannot escape from it unless you can outsource. But in this part of the world, outsource is very costly. It is essential that, we need to work on our planning, time management, and everything to make sure that we get our family transactions is also going on. So we just don't want to concentrate only on business or work and then dismiss the family needs. In order to keep it harmony, we need to take care of everything, starting from meal planning, grocery pickup, or we plan our meal plans weekly. And in fact, we share our responsibility. Whenever I am busy with my work, wherever I tend to work late nights and have a call, he pitches in. And whenever he has a call and all that, I pitch in. Even despite of late night sleep, I wake up and then prepare our. So that is something that I cannot forego and I cannot, outsource. So that is something that to my satisfaction, I do that for my child and my family, um, considering the other areas where we can share responsibilities. So it all needs proactive approach, right? Schedule management, organize school and extracurricular activities to avoid conflicts. It is also something that you're preparing. Your family also should be on the same page. If all of us are, at the same page, then it is easier for us to be planning ahead. Not just it. So all these skills is not, especially when you're in family and a team, it is not only the leader of the team or the manager of the team is doing. It is also participation from the team members. It's the same thing with family. All the members should be contributing in their own capacity. Okay. But if you have that strength of planning ahead, in my family, everybody was, we identify our strength, right? If I can see through and plan, somebody can pitch in for solving problem by, complementing each other. so that we don't overdo and redo the same thing. Okay. Then comes developing proactive mindset is taking responsibility also. Owning your decision. Stop blaming others and start taking responsibility for your life outcomes. Set realistic timelines. Instead of blaming busy schedules, planning ahead to meet deadlines is equally important. And embrace accountability. Hold yourself accountable for both success and failures. Now, when you do this, what happens? Just because you're doing this, what is the effect of it? One, taking ownership really means next time you will make sure, even if you've done mistake, you have not planned well, next time you will be able to plan ahead because you've taken that responsibility. So the proactivity comes naturally. This is why I give an example of a parent, a young mother or a young parent. They will naturally be proactive for, if not for them, at least for the child. Okay, that's how life happens. So similarly, if you can model the same thing in other areas, why can't we take responsibility for everything around us? I'm not saying, be bothered about the outcome. I'm saying you can take a responsibility. Outcome happens and not happens depends on many, many other things. But in your capacity, you can plan ahead for everybody. If you're a part of family as a parent or, even if you're a family member, you're not yet a parent, you're just a sibling or a child there. Won't you have a concern about others? So that way you do take a responsibility, right? After you become a mid schooler or a high schooler, it naturally kicks in. You care and concern for by which you take care of responsibility of your own work. You become, you will be pushed to be independent. In this part of the world, it is mandate that after elementary school, kids become independent. They will be pushed or they will be powerfully getting into that mode because that's how the system is made. Right? And setting realistic timelines is also equally important. Instead of blaming busy schedules, plan ahead to meet that deadlines and embrace accountability within each other. Hold yourself accountable, first of all, and for your both success and failures. So you just don't celebrate only your wins, right? You also should be able to acknowledge your not so wins so that you will encourage yourself to do the next time. Then setting clear goals is also a big approach because you be very clear, you being clear in your priorities, what values, and aligning that to your goals is very important. If you can do this, then your focus is easy. So your brain is easy to letting you to focus easily. Otherwise, if you're not very clear, you're asking your brain to focus here by the time, because you are very clear, we're all very efficient in multitasking, right? We do this, we do that, we want to do everything. And remember, brain is your organ inside you. So it is humanly possible only that way. Even though, there is a potential, but brain also needs break. Brain also needs direction. Very important to set your goals also. Define it in such a way it is very clear, actionable, smart goals. Okay. Break it down, divide that larger part into smaller, manageable, so that your brain doesn't get overwhelmed to, enable you to work on it. Then you're going to also track your progress. You should be a one mistake learner. And only then you can be proactive. Because if you keep on repeating the same mistakes, then what is the use of planning ahead? You're not being proactive there. So it is important to track your progress, reflect on it, review it, and respond to it. Openly agree for other perspectives. Regularly monitor and adjust your progress towards goals. And then the next approach is anticipate challenges. You just cannot have a blind spot. You need to know where are the challenges coming from. Is it from process or people or situations? Sometimes it could be out of your control, like government elections coming. There could be some policy changes, or pandemic can happen. It's totally out of control from anybody, or market disruptions like AI has come in. It could be a downturn in market, or your customer turning down. Many things which is not in your control. So the only thing you can be proactive is about one, you need to have the distinctions of what is in your control and not in your control. If you can understand that, you remember that 70%, 30%. or it's like 80, we'll go with 80-20 Pareto rule, that 80% can happen within your reach, but the 20% you have to always have a buffer plan, okay, to allow that life to happen, for which you need to identify the roadblocks, pitfalls, and all that, so that you're able to think ahead what could go wrong in your plans and develop the backup plans. So you're going to implement preventive measures, taking action to mitigate those risks before they become problems. The whole idea of becoming proactive is to take preventive measures. That's all. Over and above, if something happens, maybe that is coming from the bucket of 20%, which is not in your control. Okay. But rest of the 80% was still in your control. That is being proactive. Okay. Now, how do you create efficient systems so that it enables you to be proactive, using calendars, implementing checklist, establishing routines, right? Big time. If you're a professional, when you want to boost productivity, very vital to have your calendars in place so that you're not pulled in each other directions, and you don't get overlook at many things. So time management, efficient tool is calendar. Then checklist. I just cannot live without checklist, meaning to-do list. And I do everything with my phone notes, Apple phone notes. Um, I just integrate that with cloud, and it goes well with my laptop also. It's an ecosystem by itself. And that is why I rely on systems like, Apple products. I'm a fan for Apple products because of its stability and ecosystems, the ease of doing it. But for me to transition from Android to Apple was a huge task. Man, I had a great roadblock. But then it is easing my thing. And I think it's a proactive thing that I took a call. And, checklist preparing the to-do list previous night, that is a classic example of being proactive. And establishing routines, because a routine helps your efficiency. It boosts your productivity. Okay? Having routines is important. And also having gadgets in your kitchen. What happens to the stay-at-home mom? How can they boost their productivity? It was very important, and I just cannot live away with few gadgets in my kitchen because it makes my job so easy. I don't have to, uh, as I said, labor is very costly. We cannot outsource. The only best way is to automate something so that I can handle. I don't have to disturb my family members. How do I do that? I either rely on mobile apps or gadgets, some tools that I need to have. Okay. So that is the way you can boost your productivity. If that is also not working, you delegate, and you can delegate to people who know your, day-to-day activities, and who can do is your spouse, or you can even delegate to your children, the, small chores. If not, it's best to outsource it. And even if it is not working, outsource, delegation, automation is not working, what is the best answer? Anybody is aware of it? I gave you a formula, right? So I would want you to guess and let me know. What is the next best, the least option? Okay, let's go to the next one. Seeking opportunities. Now, continuous learning. Okay, actively pursuing new skills and knowledge to grow personally and professionally. This can happen only with the proactive mindset people. Why? Because they can think through, they are aligning them, their present situation to the long term. So they are seeing from where point A to point B, if they have to go, they can see through the pitfalls, and they can also see that, okay, now for me to go from here to there, I see myself growing, which means I need to equip. Then they will start looking for new opportunities. And when the opportunity comes, they're going to grab it. Why? Because they are the one who raised their hands first. Why? Because they plan ahead and they are problem solvers. And they know when they raise their hands, they are able to get opportunity, and they know how to handle that opportunity because they are problem solvers. Okay. And it is a continuous process. So all these skills cannot be taught or learned overnight and just left it. It has to be in your practice. It should be part of you. And that is why 100 days, I could have easily finished in 3 hours. Okay. The reason why I am expanding a particular talent or a skill deeper and wider is to make you aware of it more and more and help you apply. I'm just waiting. If anybody can apply, at least in this 100 days, if not every day, 1 or 2 days, if you can apply, if you can just apply what I'm telling, whatever you've learned here, it is definitely going to help. I'm just waiting for that one person here and there, somewhere they are able to apply and see the results. I cannot expect the whole world to, go through this or, get the outcomes. But at least one person who has listened to these episodes is able to apply, get outcomes. That's the best result for me. Okay. And then networking, building and maintaining a relationship that can lead to new opportunities, initiatives, volunteering for new projects and responsibility that is going to stretch your abilities. For you to become proactive, it is important to stay flexible, ability to adapt, be ready to change your plans as when the circumstances shift. You just cannot be rigid. That is why I always tell you that 80-20 rule. The 20% should be contingency, backup plan for you to change and be flexible. And you're going to pivot your strategies. Learn to quickly change direction without losing the momentum towards your goal. That is a key word here. If you lose your momentum, then once again you have to plan. Once again, you have to wait for the opportunity and then solve the problem. But if you're in the momentum, you're able to plan ahead, solve the problem, plan ahead, solve the problem, plan ahead, solve the problem. Momentum is there. So you will be the one who can pivot any strategies, new strategies. Okay. And then embrace the learning part of it. If you've done some mistake, learn from it quickly, adapt and pivot again, solve the problem. Once again, the same thing. And be a one mistake learner because you're going to review, because you're going to foresee. You cannot keep doing the mistakes. A person who can foresee and able to be flexibly creating a backup plan, they will never fail. It is just that they are using the backup plan because if this plan A is not working, they have already their plan B. So how can they become a failure? Okay. The next one is my favorite section. This is where we're going to catch hold of somebody who is actually really successful in this skill or talent and whom we can relate. Mostly it'll be a famous personality who's in the vicinity of a lot of people. So my heart goes to Ratan Tata because recently he had passed away, and the entrepreneur ability that he has, so many qualities that we can talk about him. For his mindset, proactive mindset, I just want to pick his example that he is a respected Indian industrialist philanthropist. He's, especially for a proactive mindset, leading the Tata Group for decades, he prioritized long-term sustainability and social responsibilities. This only demonstrates a proactive mindset, how they can shape the organizational success and as well as bring the societal change. Why a person venture into societal change unless they are able to see through what is needed, unless they are able to embrace take responsibility for a larger good and be able to solve the problem also. One cannot venture into outside their capacity. They need not go beyond their jurisdiction, right? That itself shows that they were proactive without planning ahead, without having the ability to solve the problem. You know, at that level, when they go, they have to have their time, energy, bandwidth of resources. So many things are in place, right? And under his leadership, the Tata Group expanded its operations in various sectors, including automobiles, steels, and technology. His commitment to social responsibility led the establishment of numerous philanthropic initiatives, such as Tata Trust, which focuses on improving healthcare, education, and rural development in India. And I heard wherever there is an adversity in India, whenever, whether it's flood or any disruptions, naturally or man-made, fire or anywhere people are suffering, when there is a societal adversities, Tata Trust will be the first person being there. So their trust will be the one who will reach that spot, it seems, even before the government people. It is that proactive they are. This is somewhere I read that Tata group of people will be out there to help people whenever there is need, even before anybody. So I thought this is a classic example to tell you. And then his proactive approach characterized by strategic planning, risk assessment, long-term vision. Strategic planning is left side, risk assessment is right side, and a long-term planning combines both because they need to assess the short term when they want to assess the long term. Only then they can see the pitfalls of where they are and where they want to be. So, he understood the importance of staying ahead of the curve, adapting to emerging trends and anticipating challenges. I hope this really leaves you with key messages as to how we can, display this in our approach of life and business and career. What is the emotional impact? One is inspiration, okay? And then empowerment. How he taking charge of his own thing and then how he's expanding his responsibility, action, and awareness, that is empowering. And it is motivating, right? He himself should have been a motivating person and self-motivated person to keep doing this. And if he doesn't have a proactive mindset, what is going to happen? He will be impulsively taking decisions, which will be a shocker for himself. He has to first solve that problem before he could extend his ability and, availability for others. So by the time he will solve the problem, the opportunity would be gone. There's so many things are missing, right? But the proactive person will be able to do all this and make use of the opportunity to expand and keep growing, right? If you want to assess, you may have a question at this point of time whether you have this or not. Okay. If you have been watching this episode, you know by now I have a way for you. There's an awareness quiz bundles, which will be given as a link in the description. Click that. You will have a questionnaire with all these questions with different options. You can even select the right options to know whether you're selecting the right options or not. The right scores will be given to you with the right feedback. Thereby, you will learn whether you are going in the right direction or not. Along with that, I've decided to give you tips for each and every heading. Suppose we are talking about proactivity to boost your career, productivity. So what happens in career in terms of decision making, in terms of team collaboration? How proactive are you planning? And then how proactive are you to cope the pitfalls when it has occurred during adversities? For each and every headline, I plan to give 3 tips, which means around 30 to 50 tips you will get to know in one questionnaire itself. That is good amount of learning for you. Okay. Of course, this is going to cost you. When you go to my website separately, there'll be a course awareness quiz bundles. It'll be a cost. But if you're going through the series along with me, and if you can register your learnings as comments below, I'm going to give it to you free of cost. I'll pick you as a winner and I will send you the 100% free coupon code. Okay. This is only for those people who gives me the top 3 learnings. Okay. And along with that, I'm also extending this invite for you to attend EQ Brain Skills Masterclass, where in case you are a person who wants to go deep and learn more about proactivity or any other skill for that matter in EQ, emotional intelligence, you're going to come to my masterclass to fast track that. How I'm going to fast track you is one, give you a AI driven report. If not your report, at least a sample report will be placed to you. From there, we will start interpreting how we are going to activate the left brain and right brain in a person. There'll be top skills and there will be the area of improvement. So we're going to quickly do a summary of how the debrief will be done, and we'll let you know how you can get your unique brain style report. You would also like to know what whether you are a sage profile or you're an inventor profile, and you are you an energizer profile or are you an proactive profile? You would like to know, right? So all that combination will be told to you. It'll be very interesting masterclass, unlike the other masterclass that you've attended. But emotional intelligence itself is needed and very interesting to learn. Okay. With that being said, you can also subscribe to my YouTube, Spotify, and Substack to learn and get more free resources. Okay. So, but it is going to come to you when you can engage in this episode, putting your learnings, just top 3 learnings, and get your awareness quiz bundles. And there'll be a link given here in the description for you to attend the masterclass. Register there. Whenever it's going to happen, you'll get a notification. With this being said, remember any talents or skills that you want to work, it is all driven neurologically, and brain has to give instructions to the body and the intelligence to kick in. for which you're acting on your brain now. And that brain takes longer time for you to rewire because we are grown up adults. We have got so many patterns in us that we are not able to rewire. It's so hardwired, it takes time. But it's not a rocket science. It is definitely going to come to you if you are working on it day in and day out. If you are ready to fast track, all these tools, whatever I gave you as a freebie, will help you do that. But remember, it takes diligence and practice for you to stay EQ'd. Until I see you tomorrow, I'll come out with another skill set, and you can watch this episode as many as times that you want. If you can subscribe and engage your comments there, it'll be a boost for me and for the people who watch this. I'll see